Hey guys, welcome to Brick System Brothers. I'm Nathan Masters. Today's video is a look at our hidden side line and some of the new 2020 stuff that's going to come out soon. I just wanted to look at the Phantom Fire Truck set. This one is standing out to me from our new wave just because it's doing a lot and I think it's doing it really well. So yeah, let's jump right in. This is set number 70436, Phantom Fire Truck 3000. Part of the 2020 summer hidden side wave, so we are seeing that kind of getting another lineup, which is good. I think I heard someone say this is like the third wave of hidden side, so getting pretty far into the theme, pretty far into the story. And I haven't followed the story much, but one thing I am noticing is we do have kind of a trend towards a different kind of monster now instead of the ghosts. I think the ghosts are still playing a role, but this is definitely different from what we've seen before. This kind of Slenderman guy here, and then this guy over here as well, a hooded figure, some electricity details on there. I think this is kind of going a little different direction. I'm sure there's like an animated series, so if you follow that, I'm sure you probably know about what's going on. But the first thing that stood out to me, Phantom Fire Truck 3000 actually rings a lot of bells with our previous hidden side vehicle, the Paranormal Intercept Bus 3000. So kind of a parallel theme here with the vehicle, even that name convention with the 3000 here. Both vehicles are 8 wide, and they both are kind of this, the school bus had previous duties as a school bus, and now it's been outfitted with all this ghost gear. Similarly, the fire truck looks like it's just been kind of repurposed with all of this gear on here now, these hidden side purple, trans purple elements that kind of go with our theme. So that's kind of cool to see the continuity in the theme here. I really appreciate that, and I think a lot of kids that are following the story will also appreciate that. The characters are the kind of the next thing that does stand out here. We have our Jack and our Parker, so pretty standard. Our Professor is in a lot of sets. Not quite as many as Jack and Parker, I don't think, but she's pretty prevalent. And then aside from our bad guys, we have a new character here, and his name is TV. So this character is a new character, but it also has some ties to some old LEGO themes. And so depending on how familiar you are with older minifigs, this TV, you could spell it with the E's or with just the letters T and V. And then there's also an interview that I'll look at in a minute. The designer actually calls this guy Seymour TV, so it does have a longer name. But we've seen this guy before, possibly. I think it's the same name, so I think we could say that this is like version 2.0 of our walking computer here. But we also have this character TV in the Alpha Team set here from, is this late 2000? Yeah, 2001. So it's almost been 20 years, and we have kind of an updated character. So that's pretty cool to see not just the continuity within the hidden side theme, but also continuity between different LEGO themes. And you know, a lot of people are going into the details. You can start to say that this kind of all takes place within the same LEGO universe if you want, depending on how detailed you want to get there. But pretty cool that we have this TV character showing up again here in our hidden side line. So yeah, the characters were pretty familiar with the other 3 main characters. These 2 bad guys we haven't seen before, and they do have some names here. This is Nemarim, the Harbinger. I think kind of a weird name. It's a little different from what we are seeing. The ghosts in hidden side typically have more general names, where the ghosts have just been kind of these possessed other civilians. But this guy is kind of a different thing entirely. And something that I've seen I wanted to mention here is if you read this backwards, where you start over here and read right to left, you could almost read into it where this character is like Mirror Man. So you have Mirror Man. I don't know. I think that's a cool little detail. Somebody was commenting on this Brickset article about that. So possibly like a mirror dimension, kind of the whole thing where there's this ghost dimension that the hidden side takes place in the ghost dimension and the Lego dimension all going on here. This guy's head is a 2x2 round, but it's actually kind of modeled to look like a minifig head. So just the basics of a minifigure here, but the rest of him is pretty creepy looking. Yeah, really branching out from our villains in Hidden Side. It's really interesting. And then Shadow Walker is what the other one is called. And there's a couple other Shadow Walkers in the other sets in this line, the other Hidden Side 2020 sets. So it's definitely not just a one-off part of the fire truck. It does kind of go with this line. So that's the characters. Let's look at the model itself. I really like this model because if you do just want a more sophisticated fire truck build, I think you could accomplish that with this set. You just have to change a few things. If you just decide to strip off the Hidden Side components, you'd end up with a pretty decent looking fire truck. This front end here is kind of like a vintage American style with the headlights and the arched radiator. The 8 wide helps a lot to kind of gather all these details together. But with all the Hidden Side stuff attached, it kind of brings it to the other level where we're looking at this ghost hunting vehicles all decked out. And I really like how all these elements, like our red and our blues here, it's a really good color contrast, especially using our lighter sky blue, our azure color. That does blend in really well. Interestingly enough, this website called New Elementary has an interview with the designer. And among other things, they looked at doing a dark red color scheme for this model. So personally, I would have actually preferred to see this, but they did decide to go with the lighter red just to kind of keep things light and really keep the Hidden Side theme continuous and just really show the bus as well is this bright yellow orange color. So I don't think they want to get too dark and too realistic with the vehicles. They want to keep things bright and sharp. However they're doing this theme, at least they're being consistent, so that's good. But yeah, this interview is really interesting because the big part of the design. This is the interview. Sorry. The big part of the design is that the mech is stored on the back of the fire truck, and this all unfolds, and you can pilot the mech into battle with the Hidden Side bad guys. And so it's a really interesting look into the different iterations that a design goes through, and the designer how he worked on it and incorporated this mech. There's this kind of sketch page where we have a bunch of different directions this could have gone. It looks like our final set design is kind of a combination of these two here, where the mech is more substantial, but instead of having these 4 legs, it's on a 2-leg system, and it does kind of fold more into the back of the truck. So really interesting how they went from just these basic sketches to concept model. One of the things is right off the bat that you want to have the mech incorporated into the truck, and so that really helps with the design stages to just start with that and be working on that all the way through to design. That way you're not changing things drastically halfway through. Start working in those colors. I really like the inclusion of this azure 5x6 bucket seat piece. I'm a big fan of this piece. I think it has really good applications in certain models, and it's a good mold, so I'm glad we're seeing this still used in 2020. This one with the dark green is just for fun. It's like a M-Tron version of the mech. Yeah, I recommend you guys read this interview. It's pretty interesting. I'll put a link down in the description. New Elementary, one of my favorite Lego sites. So the other one is a official Brickset review that I'm looking at here, and this has more great pictures and thoughts on the model. All the details that are in the set usually get pretty good coverage in these articles, and so I like to read through these and kind of have my first thoughts combined with the interviews on Brickset, and kind of all merge these together when I'm contemplating buying these models and thinking about this, I would like to pick this one up. And one of the reasons for that is we have a really good value here. So this is a 760 piece set sold for starting at $60, which price to piece ratio is pretty low. We're just under 8 cents a piece. And so for a brand new Lego set at RRP, that's pretty good. We also saw that with our Intercept bus. Is right up there in the same camp. A few less pieces, but still under 10 cents a piece. So Hidden Side doing really well with that. It is an internal theme, so they don't have to worry about licensing fees for this, which is good. I think they're doing a really good job with the theme on the whole. So I think if I had to pick a favorite set from our current Hidden Side lineup for this summer, it would definitely be the fire truck. One more thing to look at before I wrap up this video is a new element that we've seen. It's in this set. It's also in another Hidden Side, the ghost car, that dark green car. I saw it on that one too, but this is where I saw it first, so I'm going to mention it here. On our side, we have these rotating cannons, and these color wheels play a big part when you have the app integration with Hidden Side. Personally, I have not tried that yet, so I'm not sure how that all works, but one thing we did get out of it this year, technically these aren't released yet, but they're on the way. There is a new mold for our cylinder with a 1 stud radius. So this 2x2 cylinder, previously we've only had the full size 2x2 rounded brick. And now in this truck and one other Hidden Side set for sure, we have kind of a half section of the cylinder piece, which depending on if you've needed this before, this could be really handy. Like maybe some of you builders out there have thought as you worked on a project, wow, I could really use this half cylinder piece. Personally, I haven't had a need for this, but there's terminology called a parts monkey in the Lego world. I'm definitely a parts monkey. I love to follow the new molds and the new parts that are getting released, even if something is released in a new color. That really interests me. So to me, this is pretty exciting that we have this new mold here. And I was kind of surprised that it didn't show up in these reviews. I guess the new elementary one is more of an interview with the designer, so it kind of makes sense that it wouldn't be mentioned explicitly here. But our review on Brickset, this is usually kind of the thing that would show up in the review, at least get a mention, and it just wasn't mentioned. I think it might have been in the text mentioned, but didn't have a dedicated photo opportunity. So it's been posted on the Brickset Flickr just as a separate image here. Kind of get a really good look. Probably can even get our part ID on here. I think is that if it's not reversed, it looks like it might. Yeah, it's kind of mirrored. 98013. Wonder if this is on Bricklink. Let's check it out. It's pretty new, so yeah, I'm not surprised. It's not on Bricklink yet. But yeah, that's interesting to me that we have this new mold first showing up in their Hidden Side. And again, the only reason they needed this is so that we can change the color on these little cylinders. Where it is in the set is right here on this gun barrel. So it's black on one side, and then you rotate this, you just turn it, and it's this azure color on the other side. I'm just assuming that integrates with the app because that's what we've seen before with the other color wheels. So I think this is just a smaller version of the color wheel where maybe it activates this zapping feature for our ghosts here. So that's about it. That's about all I wanted to say about the fire truck. It's a pretty sweet model. The front end especially has been given a lot of detail, and it does kind of bring it to a next level where we're looking at something similar to the Ecto 1 car design, where we don't necessarily have a source material for the specific fire truck, but it feels as if it could be out of that environment. It'd go really well with an older modular building like the firehouse modular. Might have to be scaled down a little bit because it is an 8-wide vehicle, but now with our 8-wide Speed Champions cars, I could see this going really well in a city layout. So maybe a bit on the large side for minifigure scale, but by building it a little larger, we're able to incorporate these details. This radiator on the front, the headlights, a lot of nice pearl elements. And again, if you do want just a fire truck, I don't think it would be really difficult to mod the vehicle. Just removing the hidden side components, you'd end up with a really nice looking fire truck for Lego City. So keep that in mind. Again, with our great value on the price to piece ratio, starting at $60. So even if you usually wait for stuff to go on sale, you know, when this is knocked down to $50 at some point, it's still really high value for a sealed Lego set. Definitely gonna keep my eye on this one. Hope to pick it up this summer. But yeah, keeping that in mind. I also have a birthday coming up, so I could definitely put it on the birthday list. So yeah, that's it for the Phantom Fire Truck. Thanks for watching Brick System Brothers, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.